Hey, college entrepreneurship scholars, welcome back to Chapter 1 and Section 2. Today we are going to talk a little bit about competition as at the beginning. Again, I want to remind you that probably the best way to approach your note-taking on these videos is stop the video as the slide appears and write down the question, what is competition? Then play the content of that particular slide, stop it, and then take some really good notes online. And again, I would have this all as one document where you identify the differences between each of the sections. For instance, this is Chapter 1, Section 2, and have all the questions and answers as identified on the slides. Okay, competition is a good thing. As we all know, as consumers, competition is what drives innovation from a quality standpoint, and also drives innovation from a price reduction standpoint. You see this especially in high technology products like the smartphones. The original inception of the smartphone was close to $1,000, and now you can pick up a smartphone probably if you shop efficiently for less than $50. But what is competition in terms of a formal element, and why is it important to an entrepreneur? Well, in terms of a specific definition, we would say that competition is the key element in a market economy because similar businesses compete and develop products that exist in a similar product space. This is important to entrepreneurs because when he or she picks her particular product or product category that is going to be used in their business, they have to be very cognizant of competition and understand where they can position their product in terms of price and promotion and the feature set, as well as how they're going to distribute it. If they don't really see a opening, it probably isn't a good reason to succeed in that particular business. Okay, we're going to do a quick review of supply and demand, just because that is critical from a entrepreneur's standpoint as well. You probably remember from Introduction to Business, or maybe even some of your economics courses or AP economics courses, that the linchpin of all accounting theory is the demand curve and the supply curve. The demand curve pretty much represents the amount of goods and services that consumers are willing and able to buy. That is the primary definition, and the operative words there are willing and able to buy. A particular group of consumers would not be considered part of the demand of a company or an industry if they're not able to purchase it. For instance, a lot of you may like particular types of cars, Ferraris for instance, and have great interest in it, but in those particular cars, but right at this point in time, you're not in a position to purchase a Ferrari, so you would not be a part of what Ferrari would consider part of their demand environment. Not to say after you graduate from college and work for a few years that you wouldn't be part of that particular market, but you're certainly not part of that right now. Well, what about the supply curve? The supply curve has everything to do with the providers or the producers of products. For instance, in the car example, Ferrari, they are at the other end deciding how many Ferraris they should produce at given prices. So in terms of the specific definition, Ferrari would, for their supply curve, would determine the amount of goods and services that they would be willing to provide at various volumes. So that's an example of supply and demand. Now, the other part of the equation, as you know, as it relates to supply and demand, is pricing. So the key challenge that uh, uh, marketers and companies have is to price their products at an appropriate level. Sometimes competitors will cut prices, or companies will cut prices, and the reasons they do that is to increase volume. But the objective when they do that is to increase volume enough so that the lower prices can be made up through higher volume. If they don't accomplish that, if they don't actually increase their volume as a result of lower prices, that type of pricing strategy will usually result in a profit loss. Okay, and moving on to more factors about entrepreneurship. Specifically, when you are an entrepreneur, what are the factors you should look for that will improve your chances of business success? You want to have every potential edge that you can, and being able to identify those particular factors up front and look for those particular factors is extremely important. So in terms of the key thing, and we've talked a little bit about this, and you DECA people know this because you've actually lived it, is if you're going to be successful in a business, you have to have effective planning and management. You have to do a business plan, and you have to have management background, either gained through your own experience or gained through the people you hire in order to be successful. All right. There are a variety of variables that affect a business's ability to start and grow. And here again, you want to identify those so that you can take advantage of those when you are starting your business. And there are several of them. The first is a favorable regulatory climate. By that I mean favorable taxes, good markets, supportive government policies. We talked a little bit in the last segment on enterprise zones. That would be an example of a favorable environment. The enterprise zone is an example of an incentive to create a new business. If you can get money from governments, either city governments or state or national, to start a business, you want to take advantage of that. For instance, the national government is giving away significant incentives to start alternative energy businesses. So if you're in the solar business, that would be a good thing, good right now in terms of incentives that are given by a national government. But it's a combination of things, and you want to make sure that there are good markets, there are supportive government policy, there are incentives, and you have the resources you need to be successful. Okay, so sometimes you start a business, especially in the restaurant area, and it isn't doing so well. So you decide to change the name of the business. This is not a bad strategy, and it is often used in the restaurant area where they'll change the format from a breakfast restaurant to maybe a lunch or dinner restaurant in order to better adapt to the needs of the market. So a business operating under a new name uh, or one that's been purposely discontinued to start a new business is considered a discontinuance. It's not a failure. It's just a matter of the owner and the entrepreneur repositioning that particular business. Okay, now uh, the the death knell of a business is when you call Peter Francis Geraci, and that is typically called Chapter 7 bankruptcy, um, and that is considered a business failure. There's losses for creditors, people that have made loans to the business. There's losses to investors because the business basically dies. It does not exist anymore. And the process of moving that business through the various stages is is called a business Chapter 7 or Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Okay, great job, guys. We are going to we're going to end it here. If you again need to review your notes before our quiz tomorrow, please do so, and also please make sure your notes are detailed because it will be part of your grade. But look forward to seeing you